So Steve, it's been said, and I'm sure I'm quoting it wrong, but from a very wise person that I like to read his novels, we don't learn our lessons because we don't remember much, right?
Yes.
So what lessons have you had to steadfastly learn every day to keep on track?
I had to learn steadfastly every day to keep on track. Not to continue to repeat my past.
Which are, well, there are
Which
many
are,
lessons.
yeah,
You list them.
yeah,
That's what we're doing this videos for.
being dishonest, going into situations or relationships or um, things of that nature with the wrong intent, always looking to get something out of it, which I know you and I have talked about. Ultimately, the goal is in life to do something with the thought that you're going to get something out in return, but it's going about it the right way and the wrong way, which I can honestly say that I've gone through some things this past, 4 or 5 months, just thinking about myself and what I want, not necessarily what not necessarily doing things honestly or trying to control things and basically becoming impatient and which leads to all kinds of other things. In my head, I look at people or situations in ways that, oh, this person is treating me this way, or so therefore I'm going to do this, and I'm going to harbor that resentment and not really look at it or just dismiss it as, oh, it's okay, I can tolerate that, or I can handle that, or I can be with this person or any person and just be like, all right, well, Steve, you're not perfect, so you can't expect perfection out of other people. But at the same time, in my head, I'm almost like I've said to you before, like categorizing. Okay, well, they did this, so I'm going to remember that. So I'm not going to give them this, or continuing to almost present myself as if I'm this other person, which obviously I am changing. I want to change my life because obviously the way it was before was not ideal, and
Was not healthy.
it was not healthy. Yeah, that's a better word. Much better word. Thank you. yeah, it wasn't very healthy the way I was living. And for quite some time, I was doing all right, I think, with not, doing things dishonestly or is that, I keep saying that word. That's a sick word. With not necessarily being truthful, which is dishonest. And thinking I got this, the way I'm handling it, the way I'm doing it, without really taking a real good look at things until after they've gone bad, and saying, it's tough because it's like I know that, say for 40 years or so, I did things a certain way, or lived life a certain way, or a good part of 30 years, did a lot of things because now I'm 47, so it's like, yeah, probably like close to 35 years I did a lot of things, like I've said before, that I was always looking to get something out of it, and whether it was the right thing or the wrong thing. So it's like now I just, over time, because I'm coming up on 2 years, that I find myself almost slipping back, not almost, but I am slipping back into old habits.
So would you say that you have forgotten some lessons?
I definitely have, yeah. I mean, I've definitely forgotten some of the life lessons that I've learned.
I think that just really goes to show how difficult it is to keep on the right path, quote unquote.
Yeah.
It's a constant work.
Yeah, it's constantly reassessing yourself and your attitude and your reasons behind doing things, or I ask my higher power all the time, like, am I doing the right thing? Am I going down the right path? Am I doing things just because, or am I in situations that I self-created, and I'm just not willing to change those things. So yeah, I mean, it's tough to change. I think you even said it.
So let me ask you this. You're coming up your 2 years.
Yeah.
Do you think you've gotten better, quote unquote? Or do you think you just got better at putting on makeup?
I would say a little bit of both. It's like, yeah. That's a really good question. Yeah, I would say definitely a little bit of both. I think that's the hard part for me, is that, I know what I have to do, or think I know what I have to do, and then when I do the wrong thing, it's like, oh, see, that's not what you're supposed to do, or so just put on that happy face, act like everything's okay, act like you're, this, that, or the other thing. Get away from doing a lot of self-reflection, which I was, I could lie to myself very easily and say, oh, I'm good, or, I do this, I pray every day, and I meditate, and, so on and so forth. But it's like, I heard somebody say at one time that, are you actually doing the things you say, or are you actually living the way you say you're living? Because if not, it's just all spiritual masturbation. And I actually kind of laughed at that. I was like, wow, that was pretty solid. Like I said, for a point there, a good part of like 3 months, I felt like I was doing the right thing just about every day. I was living in accordance to whatever. My higher power was like, I felt tight, and then it's like as soon as I started letting up on those things, and taking my control back, that's when things just spiral out of control. Another person I spoke with 35 years ago, or 30 years ago when I got my DUI, a friend of mine, his father, I met him at an AA meeting, and he said that to me, and I just kind of laughed. He says, when you're trying to control, you're out of control. Ultimately, I want to have control over my destination in my life, but, I just have to continuously remember or realize that I don't have control over anything. I don't have control over... The only thing I have control over is my actions and how I treat other people. And, as of late, I haven't really been super great at that. But it's like learning, okay, what did I do wrong? Or incorrectly or whatever, and not necessarily sitting in my, like self-loathing, self-pity, just like, oh, I'm screwed, I'm going to drink again, or I'm going to do some really bad stuff, I know I won't do that, or I should say, I hope I know won't do that. I would like to think that the things that I've learned from my mistakes, that I don't want to repeat them.
So I've known you for about almost a year and a half, I would say, right?
Yeah.
And I think I'm going to give you an assessment, even though you didn't ask for one. I think you haven't gotten better, quote unquote, but you didn't get worse. So there's a lot of work left to do, but I think that's good enough for now, as long as you didn't get worse. But there's a lot more things that you need to improve.
Right.
And I think you know that, genuinely.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's a pretty good assessment. Which I'm sure you wish it wasn't as harsh.
No, I mean, I think that's what I appreciate. The few people that I have now in my life that are, quote unquote, brutally honest. I need that in my life, because when I, go out and do things on my own, that's when things go wrong. And I've proven that a few times in this past couple months, with certain things, and obviously I don't have to get into great detail about that, and it's just like I don't take advice always, or take it to heart. I take it as, well, that's your opinion, and that's strictly your opinion, and whatever. I do what I want with it. Kind of like I've said before, that whatever I say on any of these videos or anything else in public or to people or conversations, that people are going to interpret whatever is said however they want. And I have no control over that. And, just by what you said now, it's reality.
All right. We'll leave that for now.